Kind of awkward, actually.
I know, I'm sorry.
Alright,
This is-
building suspense. Go ahead.
This was right after you got back from ISD, right?
It was the day I slept until 2 in the afternoon.
Wow. So it was actually the piece, right?
I think so.
Is this last week?
Yeah, it was last Tuesday.
Yeah, this is the dream from the piece weekend.
Oh, after the peak weekend. That was a great weekend.
So, it was at the College of Metaphysics, and there was some sort of big thing going on. There was like some sort of danger. I think there might have been some sort of conflict that happened here, but that was like leading up to the main part of the dream, because we ended up having, it was like an all-student weekend or something, because there was that most of the people I knew were here. And long story short, we were spreading these eggs, chicken eggs, that had been like more or less impregnated with the thought of peace or to these different worlds, because we'd plant them like seeds, and then the thought would go out, because these eggs were supposed to be sterile. I guess either they were this rare variety prodigy egg that was laid, it had the peace thought form already in it, or we put the peace thought form in it. And so we're running around, and a couple of them were planted here to like defend us, because there were these, and we were traveling to these other planets. We were in these groups of people. I think there were 2 or 3 per group, through these like different, almost like portals, I think. Between that part's a little bit fuzzy, but between the different planets. We were trying to plant these eggs. This was right after we our sign was unexpectedly moved. Because we planted the eggs and on the different places to generate a field of peace around the cosmos, because there were these alien creatures that were kind of evil, and they were trying to get rid of everybody. They were actually fighting with themselves as well, but there were so many of them that it didn't matter, because they couldn't wipe each other out. And they had ships, so there was a point where myself and Dr. Pam, and there's somebody else from the school, I forget who she was, but we had one of the eggs, and we took it. And one of the eggs, a couple of the eggs were planted at the college. One of them was planted on an ice planet. We had them on this desert planet that we were going to plant, because there was this alien that lived there, and we were going to plant the egg for one of the evil aliens, and he had crashed on this planet because he still had his ship on the planet, because he had been in the fight with the other evil aliens, and they had shot down his ship, and he had crashed down there, and he had spent who knows how many years there, and in the time he had been by himself, and so he had kind of come to terms with his own identity, and he had become enlightened almost. And so when we got there, we were able to speak with him, because he had given up all of his darkness basically by the time we got there. And from the information we gave him, he was able to transcend the last barriers and become fully enlightened into energy. And at that point, we got attacked by some of the other aliens, and he was able to use his powers to more or less shield the ship. While we flew, we were able to get a ship working, and we flew it out. And we were flying and so now we've still got this last egg, because we don't need to plant it on that planet. Obviously, the guy's already enlightened, so we need to find a new planet to plant this egg on. I know there's one point where, I don't even know how this got in there, but we're flying past some of our neighbors, and I turned to Dr. Perry and I go, because she's flying the ship, and I'm holding the egg. Maybe we should plant the egg. Maybe we should sneak into the house of the people who took our gate and plant the egg in there. I didn't tell you that. She's like, no, Hezekiah, we're not breaking into somebody else's house. I'm like, we just took some guy's ship. Like, we're going to the new, we were going to plant out another planet. It's like, okay, so we're heading towards, basically really deep into the kind of dangerous part of space was the idea we got towards this kind of dangerous planet. We're going to try to plant this egg, and somehow we pick up Carrie Keller along the way. Before this story even starts, because the dream's like a story, he teleported himself into the future, about where we are now in the future. Like a couple months ago, he teleported a couple months into the future, lived out all his experiences, and then he got teleported back into the past, and he got amnesia. So he's kind of sick because he's been trying to undo this amnesia in his head, and it's kind of taken a lot out of him. And so we're flying, and we're trying to get there, and at this point we're being chased by those same ships that were trying to shoot us on the desert planet. And the egg in my hand starts hatching, which is kind of scary because these are supposed to be sterile. Not to mention the fact that I have no idea what a peace chicken is going to actually be like. Of course, somebody had to make that joke. Anyway, hatching in my hand, all this liquid's right down my hand. It's like, okay, what do we do? I was like, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to get to that planet, assuming these ships that are chasing us don't catch up to us first. And we need to take the chick back. I need to get it back to Lori because she's in charge of the chicken. And she'll know what to do. And we need to plant the shell and whatever else is left of the egg on this planet because the shell still has the vibration in it. And then take the actual living organism back. So, anyway, and it dawns on me at that point, I have this epiphany, because at this point I have no idea if we're going to get there before the other ships catch us. I have no idea if this ship will even work, because keep in mind it was shot down, and we just recently got it to work again. And, yeah, it's like, I'm kind of at a loss. And so I turned to Karen and I'm like, wait a minute, when you were teleported into the future, is it possible that you might have already lived this experience and you might know how we could solve this? So that's what it is, with us racing in the ship and me working with him to get his memory back in the next couple of minutes so he can tell me how we got out of this in the future so that we can do it in the present.
That's a Dr. Movement.
Oh man, that's
That's it.
Time traveler.
I think Carrie was typecast.
Yes.
Typecast.
So is Claire.
By the subconscious mind of this guy. This.
So how do
That's
you,
the dream.
how would you describe Carrie? Is Carrie
What's your...
Conscious ass. Okay, a friend, a authority figure. He represents similar to what most of the college students represent to him, which are like friends and mentors. He also represents someone who has more experiences because he's one of the older college students that we have here.
Maybe you're going to describe him in one or two words. What would be the first two words that come to your mind? Carrie himself.
Oh, he's dead.
Very youthful energy, but old soul. That's kind of what it is. 'Cause I remember before, like when he was just moving here, I was talking to Monty, and we were talking about basically how it was really cool because right before he moved here, he was like 60 something, and he had just given a kidney to his sister, and he went right back to going out working here as efficiently as any of the college students. So that was really cool.
That's a very cool dream.
That's the water.
That's what I would have to say, yeah. Probably the best approximation I give for him.
Hey, would that be kind of considered epic or not? No. Is epic dream, you call it something else.
That's like the third epic dream I've had in less than
Personal
2
myth.
years.
Would it be like a personal myth dream, kind of, or is it?
It's in between that and Avatar. Because of the space travel and the desert and the ice planet. I mean, it's got a lot of imagery in it that goes beyond just one person.
You want to hear a fun fact about the dream?
And the whole savior and coming down and the work he was doing in the dream. So it really, it's, I don't know, it's in between.
Well, you know
He'll have
how
to
I am
decide as he gets
with
older.
Not liking heroes and villains. I like to have shades of gray, so it was cool how the villain had vision before he became enlightened by spending that time by himself. We didn't have anyone but himself to
Reminds me,
lash out his violent
it reminds me of that Star Trek Next Generation where there was the oil guy on the planet.
Armus.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's a fun fact about the dream. The front of the building and the driveway, it was the same layout on every one of the planets, except the terrain was different. It was like the shape of the land, and where there were different rocks and or
Cool.
trees or ice formations were the same in all the different places.
Very neat.
And like there was a big mountain right where the main building is in each one of the dreams.
Wow.
And when we were
Like
flying the
Merlin.
ship,